Please rise in body or spirit as you are able as we sing our gathering hymn number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
Good morning. It's so good to see you people coming in. You know, this is a beautiful weekend, and a lot of people are tempted to not come because it's so brilliant. Not many more beautiful sunny weekends, but you guys came, so I'm really grateful to see you filling a chair and helping us build community. So today, if you've never been to our annual water communion ceremony, this is a service that we have once a year, and we'll be explaining it as we go through. So don't worry, it's all pretty simple, and we want everybody to be involved. But I just wanted you to know today's service is a little bit different. It's our annual water communion, and you'll learn more about that as we proceed through the service. But it's a great service, and everybody gets to participate. That's what I like about it. So oftentimes, have you noticed we kind of rearranged the chairs a little bit so you're able to see each other better? That's the idea. We want you to be able to see each other better. And oftentimes on Sunday I'll say, now take a moment to greet one another, and you get up and shake hands and laugh. But I want to try something different today. I want the two sides to bow to each other, just sitting, but to do a sitting bow. And so the first side is I'll ring the bell, and then you bow to the good people on this side, and then I'll ring the bell, and you bow to the good people on this side, a simple bow, which is a sign of great respect. You see the beauty and the spiritual beauty in another person. So you guys if you want to do it, bow to these beautiful people over here. And you beautiful people, if you'd like to put your palms together and bow to the next side. I used to live in a Buddhist community for a while, and we would always greet each other with a simple bow. And I really like that. I really like this idea that you're showing great respect to another person simply by bowing to them. And we bow to one another in this place because welcoming is our shared ministry. It's not just my role. It is my role to welcome people, but it's all our roles. Even if you're a first-time person here, to welcome other people into this community. We have a shared ministry of welcome. So thank you for bowing. Thank you for playing along. We might do it again. Thank you.
Like the waters, we will mingle together this morning. We come to this place from many sources. Some come from free-flowing streams, some from vast oceans and deep lakes. Some are salty, some bubbly, some cold, some hot. But all are essential to the life of this congregation. So please join me, if you're willing to, and say our affirmation together. Love is our doctrine. Compassion is our way. Here we seek to create a joyful home for free religious exploration, build a community of caring fellowship, nurture the hopes, and serve the needs of our world. It's our tradition here at UUCS to light 3 chalices when we begin our Sunday services. The first is for all who are gathered here today, all the friends and members of UUCS and those watching us online. The second is for our partner church in Šimanfalva, Transylvania, Romania. The third is for children and youth, those in our religious education program and all around the world. Be our chalice lit with fire for light and wisdom, or filled with water to nourish our bodies and cool our minds, we are reminded that these vessels represent our heritage, the ideas of inclusion and acceptance, the belief that everyone is worthy, the faith that together we can make a difference in the world. Please join me in singing the flame into life.
I invite you now to get comfortable where you are. If you want to take a breath and center yourself in this very moment. Be aware of your feelings of being alive, the joy you feel. Let us be aware of all those in our world who suffer. On this, our Water Communion Sunday, I invite you to imagine all the countless living beings in our world who call water, the oceans, the seas, the lakes, the rivers, the streams, their home. Let us be sorrowfully mindful that humankind's abuse of this most precious and essential resource has caused their suffering. And may we resolve to show our respect for the waters of the earth and all our fellow beings with whom we share this limited resource. Let our hearts be open to compassion, the suffering in our world, that we might be present with those who suffer, and that our compassion might bring healing. For compassion is our path, and gratitude. Take a sip of water at any moment of your day. Enjoy and appreciate the simple thing that we take for granted. Water, water, the source of all life, sustains our life. Let us feel our gratitude for this most precious resource. And now take a moment to feel gratitude for the life-giving love and the caring to be found in community, in one another. Think now of your friends and your loved ones and the caring that they offer to you and the love and the support. Thinking of these things, our hearts are lifted up in gratitude. And we remember to walk this path of compassion and gratitude, for it leads to happiness and holiness. May it be so. Amen.
Hi, I'm Carrie Lynn, and I represent the Lifelines Lay Ministry. Every Sunday we light a candle. Oops, that's next. I have 3 joys and 4 concerns today. From Leslie and Bob Zeigen, 4-month-old Elora is now smiling and sitting up. 2 stents were put in her heart at 2 days old. Friend Nathan heads east for a great new job to suit his talent. And Joan Steinberg Bridge has a joy. My friends Elsa and Ron Nichols and their daughter Mayanna and son-in-law Richard are here with me today. I am so happy to have them.
There's one for Jean Lloyd.
I know, I'm going to do another joy. And Patty writes, please send up prayers for my daughter as she travels on her road to recovery. And for concerns, Jack Simmons, we ask for thoughts of healing for our friend Jan. I already did the other, that's right. And a concern is Jean Logan recently fell picking apples and broke some bones, and she just left the hospital and is doing well. Got it. And I have one online, I hate to do this, from Robin Lamont. It's a concern. Please send healing thoughts to my wonderful friend Kay Coswell, who is in Salem Hospital with a serious illness, and also send your love and support.
Right. Kay passed this Saturday morning, so.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, you wouldn't know. So.
Every Sunday, we light a candle for the unspoken joys and concerns. Lifeline's lay ministers are members who extend an extra hand to help Reverend Rick reach out to members and friends of the congregation who are experiencing loss, illness, or any type of personal or family crisis. You can reach out to us by visiting the new Lifelines table in the fellowship hall, or contact us at the email on the screen. You can also post your joys and concerns in the book in the foyer at the church or online. Today after church, if you'd like some emotional support from Reverend Rick or Lifeline's Lay Ministries, come to the front of the sanctuary after the service. Thank you. Got everything.
Thank you, Carrie Land. Thanks to all the Lifelines members. And I just wanted to say in regards to Kate Cogswell, who did die this Saturday morning after several days on hospice, that we'll be celebrating her life later the month. Was a wonderful person, and I especially want to thank Robin for her steadfast friendship of Kay during that hard time. So thank you. Thanks to the wonderful musicians. Some years ago, in another Unitarian Universalist congregation far away, they held their annual water communion ceremony, and one of the members had brought a vial of water from the Dead Sea in Israel, which he had kept tightly sealed since his trip. Now, it's hard to imagine all the little things that can go wrong in life, and this fellow had not thought about the fact that there had been living microscopic organisms in the water when he first collected it, and that these organisms would perish in the sealed container, and that when he finally did open the vial at the water communion, a foul odor would emanate from that small vial that would quickly fill the room. He hadn't connected the dots on that. And thus it was that one water communion was quickly transformed into a gag communion. A gag communion. So for today's service, some of you might have remembered to bring water, and if you didn't, we've got plenty here so everybody can participate in the ceremony. But this seemed like a good time to ask, did anybody bring a little vial from the Dead Sea or anything like that? You might want to open it outside first, just in case. We don't want to have that ruined. You know, water needs to flow freely. Otherwise, it's going to become stagnant, fetid, malodorous, won't serve its true purpose. Think about the rain, the water falls from the sky. I was so happy to see those rains a couple of weeks ago. Oh my goodness. But think of how the water from the rain just flows down, it lands on the earth, and it slowly percolates into the ground. It gets absorbed by all the root systems of all the plants and trees. But most of the water continues to soak underground. It goes underground and it soaks through sand and porous rock, and it creates these many aquifers that we use as sources for water. Did you know that 17 million years ago, there was some volcanic activity around here that created a nice aquifer for us? So we're grateful. Aquifer is not like this big empty space that's filled with water. It's like a lot of sand and rock that just fills up with water, and there's so much of it. And we couldn't get through the summer without our aquifers. So on a sunny day, why don't you go out, if you can, and watch. Have you ever watched how the water flows on the North Santiam River on a sunny day? And how it just flows. You can see water flowing down the creeks and the streams and the rivers. And maybe you can get off to the coast sometime and see how the water flows and merges into the vast ocean, from which the water will evaporate into rain clouds that will dust the mountain peaks with snows and the thirsty earth with rain. And water that is trapped does not participate in this great cycle. And our water communion ceremony reminds us that neither are you and I meant to be hermetically sealed off from the larger life around us. You are meant for more than this, and you and I are called to be part of the great cycle of being, to join in the great dance of life, enriching life. In the wisdom tradition of Taoism, they speak of this as the water course way. The water course way. You probably never heard of it, but you might have been following it, even if you didn't know. The water course way. In the water course way, in the words of the Quaker writer Parker Palmer, wonderful man, Parker Palmer, he says that this spiritual path, the water course way, invites us to flow quietly but persistently around the obstacles that stand between us and the common good, wearing them down as a river wears down boulders. Sounds nice. The watercourse way is nice. It may sound like it's easy, like a nice little cruise down the river of life. But from an individual perspective, there can be and are harrowing moments, even when you are going with the flow. As the Japanese-American Zen master Suzuki Roshi noted when he visited the waterfalls at Yosemite National Park. Any of you folks been to Yosemite to see the waterfalls there? So Suzuki Roshi, his students were really anxious to take him there because they were wanting him to see this thing, and he saw these waterfalls. And then he wrote in a lecture, he told them in a lecture that was recorded and entered into a book later on, Suzuki Roshi said, "I saw some huge waterfalls. The highest one there is 1,340 feet high. And from it the water comes down like a curtain thrown from the top of the mountain. And it does not seem to come down swiftly as you might expect. It seems to come down very slowly because of the distance. And the water does not come down as one stream, but separated into many tiny streams. And from a distance, it looks like a curtain. And I thought, Suzuki Roshi said, and I thought it must be a very difficult experience for each drop of water to come from the top of such a high mountain. It takes time, a long time for the water finally to reach the bottom of the waterfall. And it seems to me that our human life may be like this. We have many difficult experiences in our life, but at the same time I thought the water was not originally separated, but was one whole river. Only when it is separated does it have some difficulty in falling. Whether it is separated into drops or not, water is water. Our life and death are the same thing. And when we realize this fact, we have no fear of death anymore, and we have no actual difficulty in life. And so here we are, as we gather once again on the banks of a new congregational year. We've come here to deepen our wisdom, to deepen our sense of trust in the great sacred flow of life and death. In this place, our waters, our lives mingle together here to symbol how we have created a life-giving oasis that slakes our spiritual thirst and blesses the whole community, indeed blesses the world. But our congregational pool is not a stagnant one. New water is always flowing in, even as some water flows out. Today also, we bear witness to how our lives flow on, always flow on. Today, here are some new ones, you new ones, who are entering our congregational life. And here are many of you who have been here for years, sometimes decades, enriching our spiritual community. So we're a mix, new and old, new and old. But the time will come for each one of us eventually to flow on. Just this past week, we said a tearful goodbye to our good friend Kay Cogswell. I always get choked up when good people die in this congregation, and they're all good. She had a history with us, which is such a beautiful love story, which we'll share in her celebration of life later this month. But the life flows on too. And finally, I am mindful that this will be my last water communion serving as your minister for over 3 decades. That it will be time for me to flow forward, and time for you to open your hearts to great, fresh, new opportunities next year. I'm here for the whole year, so I'm here for the whole year, but it will be time to flow on. And so, with deep gratitude for the water of this earth and for the love that flows through our lives, we offer our water today. You want to tickle the ivory while I tell people what to do? You're good. But John's going to do the bells in just a second. This is just to get you all. I want to give you some instructions on how you can participate in the water communion ritual. If you have a hard time standing for a period of time, please come and sit up on the front row section here, and I'll know that you did. But if you are able to stand, we form people on this side who want to participate. You will form a line on this side and the same on this side. If you don't have water that you brought, we have plenty of water. You simply dip some water there, and we will have a microphone, and you can tell us what this water symbolizes for you. And so we'll have an opportunity to hear from everyone who cares to participate. So now if you'll gently move and begin to get into lines while the music plays. A line on the side, the external perimeter. And you'll be walking up here, and we'll have the microphone for you. And if you have a hard time standing for any period of time, just come sit on the front row and I'll acknowledge you. So, we are gathering once again this morning on the banks of a new congregational year. We gather to renew our hearts, our friendship, and our community. And all over the country, other Unitarian Universalist congregations are also returning home. And in many, there is a ceremony just like this, the water communion.
So let us prepare to mingle our waters. Waters from many actual or symbolic sources, from rivers, streams, lakes, wells, oceans, from our garden hoses or our kitchen faucets.
We will mingle our waters from many sources as a reminder of the way we merge our individual lives into the combined stream of our shared life as a congregation. And this signifies our intentions to be willing to share of ourselves, to mingle with others, to welcome all who come here. And first, we will pour into the common bowl. This is water, thank you, Gordana. This is water from last year's water communion service. And it reminds us that even as we mix our waters today, we are also mixing them with those who have gone before us, who inspired us in the ways of love. And now come forward and offer your waters, and we'll have the microphone ready for you. And now we can switch to the bells.
This water symbolizes the shores of Gitchigumi.
This water is from Silverdale, Washington, from the edge of Dyes Inlet.
This water represents all the water that I use in my daily life. Everything from my coffee and water with my multiple vitamin to kayaking and enjoying reading.
This water is on behalf of my awesome mother who raised two beautiful sons. Thank you.
This water represents life to me.
This water represents what keeps us all alive, the earth that we depend on so much in our own personal bodies.
This water represents the gratitude that we have for the water that comes to us, that flows through our lives and through our bodies, and with gratitude.
This water is filtered so that it's clean, and it also is water that watered my garden this year.
This water symbolizes tears of happiness I shed when I learned I am an auntie.
I did not bring water to mingle. This is from the confluence of the Ganges and the Juma rivers, and from the site of the celebration, the Hindi celebration of Kumbh Mela in India. Hundreds of thousands of people come to this confluence every 12 years to celebrate the origin of our earth, and that's what I'm here to celebrate. No, I wouldn't drink it, because if you can see, it's one of the dirtiest rivers in the entire world.
I was reminded that even honeybees need water, seeing 100 bees lined up around our zinc tub taking a drink.
This water symbolizes my gratitude for entering into this community of UU and reminding me that I want to be a kind human with love to all.
I don't remember not knowing how to swim. I'm a water baby.
This represents waterfalls, both of Silver Falls and also of Morocco that I visited in '97, and the loss of people there this weekend.
This water comes from my cat's water bowl, and it signifies a joy that our pets bring our life.
Turnage Creek runs through the forest below our villa in Capitol Manor.
This water represents Crater Lake, one of the purest lakes in the world, and we visited twice this summer.
This water represents the water from the birth bath in our garden in Denmark, and it is in representative of unconditional love of my parents.
This water represents Upper Klamath Lake that we visited this summer.
This water symbolizes the water that gives the beauty to all of our gardens, whether it's blooming flowers or vegetables that feed our and gives nourishment to our bodies of Christ.
This water symbolizes serenity,
Just pour it on in. There you go.
which brings calmness to my life.
This water represents the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and the strait north of Washington, where I met family all summer.
This water is from a stream called the Roaring River that flowed through the backyard of my old house.
This water symbolizes the flow of a new beginning and a new home and the flow of peace in the Ukraine.
This water is rainwater that fell from the sky into my yard. So grateful.
And this water represents my spiritual journey, my contemplation on impermanence, and the same water will never be in here again. And I am attempting to appreciate that I will be ever-changing as well.
This water is from the rain barrel in my garden, and it's a reminder that all of the water comes from the sun, from the sky, and from Mother Gaia.
This water represents my dear family, and they're my treasures.
This water sat out under the full moon, a reminder of the cycles of our life.
This water comes from my bicycle bottle, and it nourishes me and keeps me alive, and it reminds me of all the care and nurturing that water provides us for all the things we do.
This water is from the Willamette River, and it brings such beauty and joy to all of us. But we really need to help the river right now. There's a lot of toxic waste, so we hope we can. Thank you.
This water symbolizes how I came here a year and a half ago as a single person, but have become part of a greater community that nourishes my soul.
This water represents the water that comes up through our bodies like tree roots, and that nourishes our bodies, hearts, and minds.
This water is from the drinking fountain here in the church in honor of this wonderful congregation that has given me so much joy.
This water symbolizes the 10,000 lakes in Minnesota.
This water represents the Metolius River, just one of our many rivers that we're so blessed to have in Oregon.
This water is from our home, from David and I, and it represents life, joy, and solace.
This water represents the water parks that the beautiful Oregon that we know and love has.
This water reminds me of having never been without and realizing how bountiful life is.
This water represents Coosa and Sahalee Falls along the Mackenzie River, which is my personal grounding spot.
This represents, and depending on our supply system, perhaps in fact is water from the rain over the weekend, in gratitude for the coming rains that sustain the abundance around us.
This water symbolizes all life.
This water represents the ocean.
We collected this water together from the Willamette as it flows through Kaiser Rapids. After we collected it, we sat and watched the river flow towards the ocean.
It symbolizes togetherness.
This water represents the ocean where we go camping every summer.
Oh, I brought some water from the canal that runs behind our house, and I'm just thankful for any bit of nature around us.
This water represents the new journey I'm on, and I'm ready to go.
This water is from the San Am River, which is where I've lived most of my life and represents home.
This water represents the mountain lakes in the Wallowa Mountains where we went backpacking this summer.
This water represents that beautiful thunder and lightning and rainstorm that we had recently. My trees were very grateful.
This water represents my gratitude for my family and our health. And
this water is from the bird bath in my yard, and how joyous it is to offer the birds clean, fresh water.
This water represents the students that are going to school now.
This water represents the beautiful tidal pools that I saw this summer in the Olympic Peninsula.
This water represents the crystal clear water in a swimming hole in Etna Creek near the Marble Mountains.
This water represents the feeling I had this morning when I walked in and saw the vase. I grew up in a UU church, but my children are new to it. And I saw that and I said, you are going to love this service.
To me, the water in this container represents our congregation, and the one I have in my hand that I'm pouring in represents me being a part of the congregation and being so thankful for all the support my friends here have given me over the years.
This water represents our dear diminishing ice caps.
This is such a beautiful ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you for your life-giving gifts. In truth, each one of us is a part of this mingling of water. Let us remember that water connects all peoples and sustains all life on this fragile planet. We remember that our lives begin in water, the waters that touch all shores and nurtures all life. As these waters are mingled, may we be grateful for the gifts we share, for the many streams that create our common life. May the community we create here in this new year of our shared ministry gather the separate streams of our lives into deep, flowing river of generosity and peace and justice. Sorry. So from you we receive, and to you we give. It's a song we commonly sing here, if you're not familiar with it. But it also pretty much sums up how things work here at UUCS. It is through the generosity of our members and friends that the many ministries and programs and events of this church are possible. UUCS shares our bounty with organizations in our community who share our values. Today, we are supporting HOME, Youth and Resource Center, helping young people find stability, success, and positive relationships through their drop-in center and emergency shelter services. Donations may be made in the baskets passed through the congregation or by going online to uusalem.org and following the prompts. Thank you very much for your generosity.
That's when I remember
Just some announcements for upcoming services. Hope I see you here next Sunday. I have some thoughts to share on a serious subject, and as you can see. And I think that if you're a visitor here and you looked at, hopefully you signed in and you'll be getting our newsletter and can look on our website and discovering what else is going on. Do we have any more? There we go. So starting next Sunday, we're going to be having board forums. It's always good a chance for you to know who your leaders are. So the board is going to have a once-a-month opportunity for you to sit and get to meet them and find out what's going on in the congregation. It's a good thing to do. Hey, we got a barbecue today at 1 p.m. And I hope somebody comes because we got a lot of food. So it's going to be at 1 p.m. So you have time to go home and come back if you want. And that's what I plan on doing. It's put on by the Family Fun Events. It's our RE program is helping to put that on. So I hope you'll show up for that. And next Sunday, everything returns to normal. And please do check the website for information about relevant topics that you might want to hear about the various programs and activities of the life of the community. But I think that's all the announcements I have.
Well, Rick's going to bring forward our social justice lantern and light it from the flame of our chalice. This is in recognition of all the good works that you, the members and friends of UUCS, do in our community and share with the world. Now it's time to extinguish our chalices. And while we do, let me remind you that our chalice of mingled waters will be stored and used in the future for services and rituals. And the chalices lit with the fire have to be extinguished for now, but they're going to be rekindled each time we gather in service to others, in community, or for worship. And may the light and warmth, promise and memories they represent be always present in our hearts.
Janet, I didn't make one announcement and I forgot. We are having, on the second Sunday of every month, we have the what we call the Compassionate Connection. And it was mentioned earlier, but if you're going through a difficult time in your life and just need a little bit of support, just gather up here and then we'll probably migrate to the minister's office. But sometimes it's hard and you just need somebody to talk to. So if you're falling into a category of overwhelmed, meet us up here after the service. Sorry.
And now please rise in body or spirit as you are able as we sing our closing hymn, number 1007, There's a River Flowing in My Soul.
Well, now that we got you on your feet, If you feel comfortable, please join hands and say our closing words with me. May the faith in the spirit of life, hope for the community of earth, and love for the sacred in one another be ours now and in all the days to come.